Okay, so let's ask and answer some. Let's look at some questions here. Ask and answer some questions in our exercise portion of our story. All right. So A, answer the following questions. Use the simple past tense. Okay. Question number 1. What did Charles and Beth attend? What time did it start? Number 2. What did Charles and Beth do after they left the theater? What did they talk about? Number 3. Who waited for Charles and Beth to return home? What did Beth do? Okay, so now we have those questions. Let's take some time to pause the video and look back on our story and answer these questions. All right, and then when we come back, I'll share my answers. But the main thing is that, remember, we have to use the simple past tense to answer these questions. Okay, so let's pause the video now and do that, and we'll come back. Okay, so hopefully you had some time to go over these questions. So let's go over them together. All right. What did Charles and Beth attend? What time did they start? What time did it start? Sorry. I wrote down Charles and Beth attended the theater. Answer to the second part is the play started at 7 o'clock. Okay. Number 2, what did Charles and Beth do after they left the theater? What did they talk about? I wrote, after they left the theater, comma, Charles and Beth walked around the lake. Answer to the second part is they talked about their future. Okay. And then number 3, who waited for Charles and Beth to return home? What did Beth do? My answer was their children waited for them to return home. Beth, and the second part is Beth put the children to bed. Okay? So these are the answers that I came up with. And it's all written in the simple past, right? Charles and Beth attended, right? The play started. After they left, right? That's the past tense of the word leave, right? Charles and Beth walked around the lake, right? They talked, that's past tense, about their future. Their children waited, past tense of wait, for them to return home. Beth put, right? It's the past tense of put, right? Put is one of those funny irregular verbs, right? Put. Beth put the children to bed. Okay? So those are the answers that I got. Hopefully you got the same. All right? If you need to work on this a little bit more, that's no problem. You can either email me or use WhatsApp, right? And we can work on these a little bit more. All right? But this is the simple past tense. Let's look at B. Rewrite the following sentences as negative sentences, yes or no questions, WH questions, using the underlined word or phrase, and tag questions. So we're not going to do any of the tag questions, but we will do negative questions, negative sentences, yes or no questions, and WH questions, which are what and who. All right? So let's look at the example, because we're going to be dealing with the simple past tense now. So the example for the sentence, Amanda washed the dishes. Okay, Amanda is underlined. All right. So the negative way of writing the sentence is Amanda did not wash the dishes. The yes or no question, which means we would write a question where the answer would be yes or no, that would be, did Amanda wash the dishes? And then the WH question is, who washed the dishes? Okay? Let's look at our examples here. Our exercises. Number 1, the moon was bright. Number 2, they talked about their future. And then number 3, Charles told the children about the play. Okay? So now let's take some time, pause the video, and to write out our negative sentence, our yes or no question, and our WH question for each of these three exercises. All right, and then we'll come back and then I'll share my answers with you, and we'll see how it goes. All right, so let's do that now. Okay, so hopefully you had some time to complete these three examples, these three exercises. So let's go over them together. Number 1, the moon was bright. All right. So the negative way of rewriting this sentence would be, the moon was not bright. The yes or no question would be, was the moon bright? And then the WH question would be, what was bright? Okay. Number 2, they talked about their future. The negative way of writing this is, they did not talk about their future. Or you could say, they didn't talk about their future. The yes or no question would be, did they talk about their future? And then the WH question would be, who talked about their future? You could also say, what did they talk about? Right? What did they talk about? That's another WH. Who talked about their future? Or you could say, what did they talk about? All right. Number 3, Charles told the children about the play. And the negative way of writing this is, Charles did not or didn't tell the children about the play. Yes or no question would be, did Charles tell the children about the play? Did Charles tell the children about the play? And then the WH question would be, who told the children about the play? Or you could say, what did Charles tell the children about the play? Okay, because both of those are WH questions, who and what. Who told the children about the play? Or what did Charles tell the children about the play? All right. So for the answer for number 1, this is what I got. The moon was not bright. Was the moon bright? What was bright? Number 2, they did not talk about the future. Did they talk about their future? What did they talk about? Then number 3, Charles did not tell the children about the play. Did Charles tell the children about the play? Who told the children about the play? You could also say, what did Charles tell the children about the play? All right, so that was in the review of the simple past tense. We had a story and some exercises to go along with that. So hopefully that helped to remind you about simple past tense and how to use it. All right, so from here we'll keep going on to the next review. Okay, so in this section we will talk about the simple future tense. All right, and we will do our simple future tense review. But before we do that, before we jump into that, let's remind ourselves what the simple future tense is and what it looks like. All right, so the simple future tense is the form of the verb that shows the action or the state will happen in the future. So the simple future is the form of the verb tells us something is happening or something something is happening in the future or will happen in the future, right? So I like the simple future tense because it is pretty much the simplest tense you'll find, right? Because you can always use will plus the base form of the verb. Okay, you don't have to worry about regular or irregular verbs. It's all will plus the regular plus the base tense of the verb. So for example, Lisa will dance tomorrow, right? So Lisa will dance, he, she, it will dance tomorrow. I will dance tomorrow, you will dance tomorrow, we will dance tomorrow, and they will dance tomorrow. All very simple. Will plus the base form of the verb will give you the simple future tense. All right? So let's look at our story. The question is, who is she? Who is she? What will she do? What is going to happen? All right? So now is a good time to pause the video and to read the story and to find out how we are using the simple present the simple future tense in the story, right? And then I will read it, all right? And then we'll keep going on and do some exercises. So let's pause the video and read the story, and then I'll come back and read it, and we'll move on. Okay, so let me read the story to you, and then we'll move on from here. On Saturday, Katie will be 1 year old. Katie's parents are going to have a birthday party. The party is going to begin at noon on Saturday. Many people will be at the party. Katie will have so much fun. Katie's dad is going to cook hamburgers. Katie's grandmother is going to bring ice cream. Katie's aunt is going to bake a cake. It will be a chocolate cake. Katie will love her cake. All of Katie's relatives will bring presents. Katie is going to open her presents after lunch. Then everyone will eat cake and ice cream. Katie is going to have a good first birthday. Okay, so please see how they have used the simple future tense in every part of this story. all right? Because we're talking about something that will happen on Saturday, which is in the future. Okay? Questions to answer: who is she? What will she do? What is going to happen? All right? So in our next video, we will start looking at some exercises that will answer some questions and to help us to use the simple future tense. All right? So we'll do that in our next video. Okay, so let's look at some exercises for our simple future tense. A. Answer the following questions. Use the simple future tense. Number 1. How old will Katie be on Thursday? What time is her party going to start? Number 2. Who is going to bake the cake? What kind of cake will it be? And then number 3. When is Katie going to open her presents? What will happen then? Okay, so now let's take some time to let's go back through our story and find the answers to these 3 questions. And let's make sure that we write the answers in the simple future tense. All right? And then we'll come back and we will review them together. All right? So let's do that now. Okay, so let's go over our answers here. Number 1, how old will Katie be on Thursday? What time is her party going to start? I wrote, Katie will be 1 year old on Thursday. Her party is going to start at noon. Number 2, who is going to bake the cake? What kind of cake will it be? I wrote down, Katie's aunt is going to bake the cake. It will be a chocolate cake. Number 3, when is Katie going to open her presents? What will happen then? My answer was, Katie is going to open her presents after lunch. Then everyone will eat cake and ice cream. Okay? So these are the answers that I got. And now hopefully you got the same. The big thing here is to remember to write your answers in the simple present, the simple future tense. All right. So let's move on to B. B. Rewrite the following sentences as negative sentences, yes or no questions, WH questions using the underlined word and phrase, and tag questions. So here again, we're not going to use tag questions, but we will use negative sentences, yes or no questions, and WH questions. All right? The example that they give us is, Alex will make dinner tonight. The negative way of writing this is, Alex will not make dinner tonight. If we're going to write a question that requires a yes or no answer, our yes/no question, we would rewrite this, will Alex make dinner tonight? And then finally the WH question, which is a who or what, right? How we would rewrite this as, who will make dinner tonight? Okay? So those are the examples for what they want us to do. So now let's look at our questions, or our examples actually. Number 1, Katie will be 1 year old. We have to write a negative sentence, a yes or no question, and a WH question. Number 2, it will be a chocolate cake. Here again, we write it as a negative sentence, a yes or no question, and a WH question. And then finally, number 3, Katie is going to open her presents after lunch. We have to rewrite this as a negative sentence, a yes or no question, or a WH question. So let's take some time to do that now. Let's pause the video and complete exercises 1 through 3, and then we'll come back and I'll share my answers with you and we'll see how we did. Alright, so let's do that now.